is the time ill-fated? Let's engage a communications lead at the Parliamentary Network Africa, Clement Akoloh. Mr. Akoloh, thank you very much for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my sister.
Now, majority has petitioned the Speaker. The minority says it is ill-timed, looking at the number of days we have to the elections. Also, they failed to meet the threshold in Article 112 Clause 3. From where you sit, is it indeed ill-timed?
All right, thank you very much. Yes, we think that it's ill-timed because under normal circumstances, by this time, Parliament is supposed to be on recess. They actually scheduled to be on recess from 15th of November. So technically speaking, at this time, they're supposed to be on recess. But we all know what happened, what has occasioned this particular situation as we speak. So even though it's ill-timed, we also thought that there will be we'll find some reason to come back to Parliament because there is something very urgent and very important for us to do with regards to the budget for next year, which is a source of worry for us if we are unable to do that. But strictly speaking, it's ill-timed. This particular time is the time that members of Parliament are trying to get the attention of their constituents. They are trying to seek a re-election, and it's really ill-timed. And even if they succeed in coming to Parliament, we are not sure that all the businesses that have been listed to be transacted, they will even have the presence of mind to be able to transact them on the floor of Parliament as we are seeking to do. So our hope is that, okay, what the NDC Caucus leader is saying, maybe we could consider immediately after elections, then members of Parliament can be recalled and come and do the business before they finally rise on the 6th of January 2025.
Now, you mentioned the number of things tabled for which the majority is triggering a recall. For example, the budget. Can't this budget, for instance, be looked at when the new Parliament reconvenes in 2025? Since it is a budget for 2025.
Yes, we are looking, because the Constitution makes it mandatory or looks forward to the next, the next Parliament. You know that when a new Parliament is reconvened on the 7th, they do not have the power immediately to transact business until they have elected a speaker and all that. So during that time, what will government be doing? There will not be any vote on account for the new government to use. So it will make sense for this particular Parliament to pass that budget before we get into next year. Otherwise, we may have challenges going forward. What if we have an election that drags for beyond the period that we are looking at? So it means that we may have challenges running the government in 2025. So it's rather prudent that they do it before we get into 2025.
Should Parliament then consider this particular on the table and say, well, if you are in the constituencies, maybe we could resort to the use of internet. That is, if they have stable internet, like we did during COVID.
They say extraordinary situations call for extraordinary things to be done. But I'm not too sure what you are calling for could be the best solution, because we know that the internet is not friendly to all of us as we speak. The internet in Ghana is not very friendly at this time. And especially when you go to the hinterlands where most of these MPs are, they may not get access to internet. And that will mean that we will be shortchanging some members of Parliament who may want to be part of the decision-making process. And let's also note that there is a required number for a quorum for doing business and the required number for taking decisions. At this time, when we are not too sure about the internet, and then we are not too sure about the attention span of our members of parliament, do we want to put them through this and at the end of it all, we may not get the best of decisions being taken during this particular time?
Now, Mr. Akoloh, let me take you back a little. Would you then say that the fate of this current parliament, the impasse we're experiencing, can be blamed on the majority because they triggered recall twice and they failed to show up?
Yes, I think we can squarely put that particular blame on them. And I think that this process have not been managed very well. We have not managed this particular process very well. So the majority or the NPP caucus have themselves to blame for this particular stalemate that we are having. Because it was clear that, because right from the word go, we said that these particular court issues were not going to be enough to solve the stalemate that we're having in the country. So we were proposing some alternative dispute resolution mechanisms to actually deal with the situation whilst we're still at the court or something like that. I was trying to seek interpretation of the article. And it appears that that advice was not kindly taken, and at this time, I think we have some very difficult situations to deal with at this time. So we cannot take the blame away from the NPP caucus or the majority caucus as we speak.
To us, we do appreciate your time with us. So that's Clement Akoloh. He is communications lead at the Parliamentary Network Africa, PN Africa.